What up, ladies and gentlemen? This your boy SK the King coming back with another reaction video. And today we're actually checking out Tube's new video of the legal dangers of TikTok Shop. So let's check it out, man.
How is it that after what feels like every 2 seconds on TikTok, they're trying to sell you something? Literally anything they can sell, they will try to sell to you. From these turbo fan shower heads, the socket fan light, rice dispensers,
I bought a couple things from
dispensers,
TikTok Shop.
$29 go-karts, to the insanely popular hair curlers. I mean, it doesn't have to be those specific products, but you get the point. They find something that fits on your For You page and show it to you about 80,000 times.
Bought it.
And guys, I can't lie, I too am a victim of TikTok Shop. I bought a water ear cleaner that I haven't even opened up, but just because the woman that was using it looked like she was having an orgasm, and I also want to know how it feels like to have an orgasm from some water in your ear. Again, another unopened product I bought, a slushy maker. I think that squeeze cup that I'm definitely going to use for making slushies, not for anything else. Nothing else fits in there, but you guys get the point. I'm a victim too, so I have a little personal beef with this topic. Well, I decided to do a deep dive on TikTok Shop, and it turns out there's a whole strategy on how the TikTok Shop actually works.
Oh,
that's
really?
Actually very malicious and dangerous. From pure scams like these $29 go-karts, to goods possibly made from forced labor in China, and even substandard products like the hundreds of fake and potentially harmful cosmetic products being sold, or worse, prescription drugs advertised with no proper warnings
Prescription?
by the FDA. So as you can see, this Reddit post supporting what I was saying about prescription drugs being sold on TikTok Shop was in fact deleted, but I did find a video of another creator ranting about how she got an ad for Zofran being a prescribed drug, and I'll play a little clip of that.
I just got a TikTok Shop ad for a medicine that I used to be on for nausea, and they would literally put chemo patients on it, and it was prescription only, and you had to get refill. And now they're selling it on TikTok Shop. I'm a little concerned.
Oh
this
no!
Doesn't feel legal or right.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Just like that Reddit post, the creator is alleging that you could find this prescription drug here on TikTok Shop. Though I tried looking it up and I didn't find it. I don't know if it's regional based or what, but just to be completely honest, I personally did not find Zofran on TikTok Shop. So a clear Wild West with a lot to talk about. And I'm definitely going to go over the scams that each of those items are involved with. But first I want to talk about how many ads you actually are seeing on your For You page. And why that's a deliberate thing. A psychological game by TikTok and its creators that you cannot win. With that being said, my name is Tub.
I see too many ads.
Morbid documentaries here on this channel, and if you aren't subscribed, don't even worry about that. I promise I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. Like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the dangers of TikTok Shop. First, we'll talk about the psychological games, users versus creators versus the algorithm. Then, we'll talk about counterfeits and more. Then, scams for everyone. And lastly, unethical sourcing. So let's head on to the first segment. Psychological games, users versus creators versus the algorithm. Vox, the media house, did a piece on shady advertisers on TikTok sometime in 2022, and I think what they found is the perfect segue into the whole psychological games thing, specifically trust, or more the abuse of it. While doing that piece, they went over a bunch of videos that found that some creators were not really disclosing pieces of content that were ads as it's required by the FTC, and suffered no consequences for that at all. This is one example of the videos they unearthed. On the creator's timeline, it looks like your regular normal video with nothing more to it other than a brother and sister playing pranks on each other. However, it turned out to have been a full-on advertisement for a brand, the Joker Prank Shop. The hashtag at the end of the caption partly references that. The gun that the girl is using is what is being advertised. It was one of the products by the shop and could be bought at your local Walmart, a fact clearly demonstrated in the video. Now, the whole thing was the work of Influencer Marketing Factory, a marketing agency that, according to Vox, had run other adverts with lots of other influencers in different niches that were never disclosed to be ads as well. And honestly, hats off to Sarah Morrison, the journalist behind the expose, because she gave several very clear examples of the same thing happening with other creators all over the place. There's one where Charlie D'Amelio, for instance, promoted a drink, Muse, by replying to a follower without properly disclosing that she was a brand partner to Muse.
This one's pretty simple. They're really good and I really like them, and they have a lot of different flavors and a lot of health benefits. So
She never used the branded content label as required.
Yeah, that was
TikTok.
very
She
short
and
brief.
So to any more of the 140 million followers she had at the time, this could have been passed off as her genuinely enjoying Muse. I'm speculating though. Then there's also one where Patrick Minor, also known as A. Patrick, on several alleged occasions, simply prominently displayed drinks by the Bang brand, including Vooz, in videos that had no ad disclosure whatsoever. In one specific example, he does a personality test quiz in front of a bathroom mirror while the drink is in clear view. The only thing that could hint at it being an ad was the hashtag VoozHydrate that he places at the end of the caption. Now, I'm pretty sure we get the deal. You need to describe it being an ad in order for it to be legal. You can't just put hashtag hydrated and expect it to go over well. I mean, we did talk about Kim Kardashian being fined $1.26 million by the FCC for failing to properly disclose a crypto ad back in 2021. That was in this video I made, every single influencer who promoted a crypto scam. But I'm sure you guys get the point. Bro. An influencer promoting something why I don't deal with crypto as an ad is just morally wrong and scummy and actually illegal. So that video that I mentioned regarding the Joker prank shop is actually a good reference to this because it's a case of a minor, the girl, advertising a product to kids without disclosure that it's an advertisement. I mean, how do you win against that? In fact, even disregarding targeting kids for a minute, how would you, an adult, differentiate between someone who's just showcasing a product that they happen to use in their daily life from someone trying to get you to buy something so they get their commission or because they've already been paid to do so?
They gonna do it anyway. Let me skip this ad real quick. But yeah, it gets real. It's the Wild Wild West for real when they be promoting these items and stuff, man. It's crazy. Alright.
Possible without obvious disclosure. And just to be clear, the FCC requires a use of a hashtag, for instance, hashtag advertisement, hashtag sponsored, or hashtag ad right before the caption begins, or in the content before the view more button on TikTok captions. And for good measure, creators are generally encouraged to use the brand and label on TikTok to disclose brand partnerships. In 2023, the FCC also said if a video is a partnership or sponsored, this also has to be made clear in the video itself, both in written or verbal terms. Whether someone is watching the video on mute or not, it should be obvious. Who's really promoting these items on TikTok? Well, I'm gonna let you guys know, based on being on the internet for over a decade,
99% of the creators on TikTok
that want your money. Okay, people that want commission. It's really rare, but yeah, I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist, but this is really rare where a person is genuine and they're like, hey, I got this thing and it works. Nowadays, it is extremely rare. If you're being shown something, it's probably going to be an ad. And yes, people are scummy and they don't put that it's an ad in these new videos that you guys are watching
all the time,
especially with TikTok Shop giving commission to anyone that promotes that given product. But then psychological tactics don't end there. Where trust can't reach, TikTok's algorithm for sure gets to go. One of the best ways I've seen the algorithm described, and which is arguably true,
like every
is that
5
it's, quote,
swipes,
addictive and anti-aesthetic, end quote. The addictive part is sort of obvious because how else would anyone explain the 95 minutes a day that the average user spends on the app, or even the approximate 19 times that such a user opens the app per day. The anti-aesthetic bit, though, is what I found curious and what really ties into the whole bit that I just described, and also arguably fuels the likelihood of a regular TikTok user being deceived by an ad. Think of it this way: the fact that TikTok is largely UGC and runs on informality, that's the kind of content we're likely to not associate with regular ads as seen on other platforms. The informality seems to be what blurs the line between a regular post and an ad post. The ads we are seeing on TikTok aren't full-fledged professional
I see
camera.
too many
the
of them.
ads nowadays
Too many.
is a middle-aged woman on her phone saying that, yo, this cup is pretty cool. It blends in with your entire For You page. You don't know if you're looking at an ad or not. I feel like I've gotten that point across pretty clear. But now let's talk about if you keep seeing those ads. As an LA Times reporter put it, while one random video advertising something might not get you to cave in, seeing that same video 10 or 20 times that look like real life testimonials about the same item might just become enough to get anyone spending. So in short, the psychological tactics
all the
used by
time on TikTok
really revolve around building trust through creators that act like your random neighbor or friend or recommending something, and an algorithm that learns you at a very detailed level and then begins hammering you with those same ads over and over until you cave. And even if you don't cave, well, you're still seeing the ads. There's a chance you will cave. And that's what TikTok Shop wants. It wants you to cave. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, on my For You page, I feel like I open up TikTok to an ad, and I scroll once, I get like a regular TikTok. Then I scroll again, I get a live. Then I scroll again, I get a commission brand TikTok. I scroll again, I get a regular TikTok. Then I feel like I get another creator commission thing. Like, so annoying, but is that gonna stop me from going on TikTok? Probably not. Yes, I am part of the problem, guys. I am aware, but I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna try to do better, guys. People have been complaining about that for a while actually. Now, while what I have covered is the core of it, I don't believe it's all there is to the psychological games. There are other tactics that, although not inherently bad, strongly nudge users to buy stuff that they didn't even know they needed. There's an article, for instance, that has equated live selling on TikTok to QVC. And the thing with live selling, just like what happens with professional presenters on QVC, is that a creator can really create a one-to-one interaction that feels like just gossip with a friend. But even better, the creator, unlike polished TV hosts, is unfiltered, up close, and again, very informal in a way that doesn't feel like they're selling anything to you. Then there's also the psychology of price, where without going too much into it, TikTok covers some costs, like shipping costs, to keep the product cheaper and entice both shop owners and their customers. They even issue sales and coupons, which are honestly some of the oldest tricks in the book. Some sellers on TikTok have even been quoted saying they stopped listing on other platforms like Amazon, because not only are such platforms complicated and time-consuming to set up, but also lack incentives found on TikTok Shop that drive the prices really low and sales quite high. This is actually a sort of controversial take,
all the time.
but we'll dive more into that once we go over the whole ethical bits of cheaply priced stuff. And you're probably wondering, well, if we aren't winning on TikTok Shop, then who is? We obviously know that the seller is, but what about those creators that have the commission? Are they making good money? The answer is yes, sometimes. Okay, I've seen some people on my For You page being like, yo, new hoodie, you should get it. And the comments are like, not even try. But there are some people that are really good at selling, and they're really good at, I'm not gonna say lying, but they're really good at selling stuff to you. This guy, for instance, Brandon Hurst, aka Brandon the Plant Guy, said that in just a couple of months, he sold about 30,000 plants on TikTok Shop via live selling. That's more plants than he had ever sold for the 3 years he had been running his business before joining the platform. There's also another TikTok Shop owner, the CEO of Ocean Healed My Eczema, who said that in just 3 months, he was able to sell over $1 million worth of products on the platform.
$1 million?
And one of the influencers working to push the eczema cream, Caitlin Dupre, after she made this video and a couple of others, said that in one particular month, she made $20,000 just from commissions.
Dang,
so clearly, there's a lot of money to be made, and I see why there's a lot of young people hopping on the
making a
TikTok
killing
Shop
over there. Sheesh.
Counterfeits and more. What's worse than psychological games though? Oh yeah, the product not living up to the hype. However, even worse are the fakes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm just gonna put it on the screen and say it. Coarse snail mucin is a great example of this. This was a popular cream, and still is, that came from a Korean skincare trend of using snail mucus to heal the skin. Besides whether it works or not, it just went viral. And
that's
soon enough,
nasty.
the original thing got so many copycats that finding the genuine product on TikTok was like walking in a minefield. I mean, you can find videos of creators trying to help differentiate between the real and fake thing, but then right under such videos, some users seem to blur the lines even further. The creator is saying the real cream is sticky, but then a follower alleges that theirs was sticky but ended up being fake. Right under that comment, another user seems to wonder which one is the real one. Now, regarding that specific brand, Coarse Snail Mucin, there were reports that the fake product sold quite a lot and it was quick money to some shop owners. One seller moved 37,000 bottles at $5 each, while another moved 40,000 bottles for about $15 each. Now, the video I just talked about is just one among many others that try to warn users about the fakes. But then what's more concerning, despite the inability to rule out the fakes, is the uncertainty of what is in them. What really is in that fake cream bottle that you're putting on your face? As one user put it, if it's not snail mucin, then what is it? A totally valid question when some of these stores were selling the bottles for up to $25. Like I said, there were a bunch of fakes, so you could find the price range be from $5 to even $25 or more. Also, what are the chances that the fakes and the real thing have the same ingredients? There's a reason the real is more costly. I'm no expert in this, but I checked, and if previous studies are anything to go by, then there's definitely a difference between the real and the fake. And this of course poses great risks for harm. For example, there was a time when it was found that counterfeit cosmetics can have as much as 19 times more lead than is legal. They can also contain chemicals like arsenic, which causes cancer, mercury, and aluminum, both of which are toxic, and even weirdly, animal feces. Yup, because those who make these cheap versions of products cut corners to do it. They're likely to have unsanitary conditions where animal feces ending up as an ingredient is not unheard of. And just to stretch the point here, anyone should be highly suspicious if something that usually costs $25 is 5 times less its original price at only $5. The study I was talking about actually talks of a situation where a sting operation that included the FBI in its execution found that MAC lipsticks that were being sold all over at discounted prices had as much as 300 times the amount of lead that is legally approved in the US.
Oh,
the report,
heck
of course,
no.
ended up strongly cautioning against such products simply because these differences in chemical concentration with the real product can be at times life-threatening. In short, while the fake product could list the same ingredients as the real one, there's normally a difference, and a damning one for that matter. These differences could even potentially cause health complications. Now, while we're on the topic of substandard and potentially dangerous products, I might as well bundle in two things that I found alarming as well. One, there's apparently a growing concern over kids getting cosmetic products from TikTok that aren't suitable for them at all. CBS reported, for instance, that impressionable kids end up buying these, quote, brightly packaged creams, lotions, and serums, end quote, from their favorite influencer, but then develop side effects like rashes because the ingredients in the products are not safe for kids. Specifically, things like retinol and glycolic acid are meant for older skin and can work well on it, but are damaging to younger complexions. This is something dermatologists actually confirmed.
Oh
now,
my
while
God.
this isn't a case of a fake or substandard product, it simply points out a problem which I mentioned earlier. Kids are being influenced on the platform, particularly because they couldn't be more loyal to their favorite influencer. And look, to my young viewers who are watching this video right now, first of all, probably shouldn't be buying stuff Brent Rivera is telling you to buy.
For real.
I don't know if he does TikTok shop stuff. He probably doesn't. But also, don't buy stuff that you can ingest or put on your body. Maybe if you're buying like an iPhone holder, you're probably gonna get scammed, but okay. But seriously, actually, this doesn't even go to my young
Yeah,
viewers.
I'm gonna stay away from the creams and stuff. Yeah.
Don't buy cream on TikTok shop. Don't buy
Heck nah,
the special
bro.
soda, TikTok soda. I don't know if that's a thing,
TikTok
but there was,
soda?
like, that pink sauce a couple of months, last year, 2 years ago. I don't even remember how long that was, but I feel like that should be a rule of thumb. But if it's not already, don't buy anything you put on your body or ingest. That should be a rule of thumb. Let's keep going. A big part of this issue, according to reports, is that the Get Ready With Me videos, which apparently are sometimes done by influencers,
Not the kids, bro.
has many children viewers, and kids as young as 8 are getting sold into these multi-step skincare routines that have them buying quite expensive
They don't
products
even
like
need
Sephora
skin
and Mecca.
routines.
There's
They
actually a whole
don't.
thing that came out of
They're
videos
too
like this.
young.
People began to wonder if kids should really be using skincare products
Heck
from the likes of
no.
Drunk Elephant in the first place. Vice, for example, asked an actual dermatologist
don't even
about
need
it, and
it.
in general, the answer was that some bits of skincare products could lead to sensitive skin in kids that would be difficult to treat down the road. Anyway, before we get sucked into the skincare and skinfluencer rabbit hole, basically, as I said earlier, the point is that there are psychological tactics to selling to users that have no chance of winning, and kids are even worse in that regard. And this
Okay, we gotta add.
See that?
Yeah, like y'all gotta stay away from the from them creams from TikTok shop, man. That is dangerous, man. I'm staying away from that.
to the other thing I found concerning: fake reviews. It's obviously one thing
Fake
to see
reviews.
UGC
Yeah,
videos
all the
recommending
time.
something without
Mhm.
disclosing it as an ad, but then it is totally a whole other level if the comments on such video are fake. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because there's a Fortune report which found that TikTok shop had vendors that had been previously kicked off of Amazon for the shady practice of exchanging products for reviews. An example is Saka Precision Manufacturing with its brands Taotronics and Vava. Same thing with this company, which I'm gonna butcher that name if I pronounce it, and its popular brand of headphones, MPOW. Now I've dwelled a bit on the cosmetic products because they're really a hot commodity on TikTok and everywhere else too, but there are other many categories of products where the same thing is happening, and I'm talking about them being substandard or just dangerous. The Sun, a popular UK publication for example, reported a case where a lady named Annie had her TikTok hair curler explode while it was quote plugged in and switched off.
Oh,
That's
wow.
obviously the worst case scenario, or maybe near worst case scenario.
Now, that's
She wasn't
crazy.
holding it while it exploded, luckily. But the thing is, it could have. It turned out that for such products, in the UK at least, there's no legal obligation for online marketplaces to make sure that the items on their platforms are safe for people to use. They can sell almost anything and everything. That's unlike regular stores like supermarkets, which need to do thorough tests. That's probably why there have been warnings that TikTok Shop could just be another way for millions of cheap products to make their way to consumers without much scrutiny.
Bruh.
I mean, how else do you explain the mini car trash going for 37 cents, a $16 computer desk, or even 3-piece sand sheets going for just $8.43? I'd also bet that's the same reason a bunch of people are buying counterfeit products and not knowing that they're counterfeit. For example, remember the Stanley Cup? Well, besides the love-hate relationship most
Oh
people have
yeah.
with it, it's a prime example of how cheap
They was
can
going
go
crazy
hand in
for
hand
those
with
cups
fake.
too.
According to some, what seemed like great deals, coupons, and sales of the genuine cup turned out to be them just falling for fake stuff that looked really close to the originals. And the problem, as framed by this user, is that those who never knew what the original thing was supposed to look like went on to share and sort of become micro-influencers for the fake stuff. This of course would get these products in front of a lot more people, and the cycle just
And all those
repeating
people
itself.
bought that too.
Now I'm pretty sure I've already brought up the idea that these tactics used by TikTok and creators cut across multiple product categories. However, I'm bringing it up again because, as mentioned in this Fortune article, not only does the sheer volume of products under each subcategory, for instance, become overwhelming in terms of choice, but it also acts as grounds for a lot of listings that are just not true or tailored for search engines and not people. I'll expand on that in a bit, but first, something I found interesting also mentioned in this article is that rather weirdly, TikTok Shop doesn't list the brand name before someone clicks on the product. What they show instead, and very generously, are the products in free shipping,
and
ones
the
in red and
price.
green colors. Then next to the product, there are numbers to show how many times the product has been sold. Also, a countdown clock for the hours it's on sale, and in general, a setup that creates a sense of urgency about buying the item. And I'm not
all the
saying
time
that's
on
evil
TikTok
or illegal.
I
A
see
bunch
it
of
all the
websites
time.
do that. They put a fake countdown to get you to buy. But I figured I'd just mention that if I'm already making a whole video on TikTok Shop. Anyway, when I talk of listings that aren't true, what I mean is something like this description. Women's 3-piece, high-waist, workout shorts, butt-lifting, tummy control, ruched, I don't know how to say that word.
The
Rugged
hell?
butt smile yoga short
People
pants.
actually buy it?
That's definitely not a real product. Just a compilation of phrases to trick the algorithm into praising that specific product. Now, because of the sheer volume of items on TikTok Shop as a whole, it's likely that such things would go undetected, given maybe the company could be dealing with bigger fish, like influencers that fail to disclose sponsored posts and ads. Scams for everyone. What comes out of this though, and a segue to the next dangerous bit of TikTok Shop, are the outright scams. Here for instance, the guy going by Kernel Dump bought a charging station, only for it to turn out to be really low quality, like too flimsy to even hold the phone.
Oh heck
So a sort
nah,
of
bro.
misrepresenting listing, right? Well, yeah, but there's more. When he went back on TikTok to check out the seller, he found that the store had closed down, and it did so after selling about 150 pieces of that item.
Oh,
This actually turns
wow.
out to be a weird issue because it even puts TikTok itself in a weird spot. How? Well, TikTok requires shops to issue a full refund within 30 days if the product is faulty or for whatever other valid reason the buyer wants to send it back. But then, what happens if the shop the user bought it from closes down? Because even though TikTok says such a shop needs to fulfill its duty to buyers up to 90 days after its last product was sold and delivered, how do the buyers contact the shop once it's closed? See what I mean? Even worse, what happens if the shop
that's
sells
scam.
150
That's scamming,
items
bro.
of a
That's
banned
scummy.
item, like I just showed you on that Kernel Dump video, and then it gets shut abruptly by TikTok themselves? Where is the buyer supposed to get their refund from? In an investigation, The Sun found cases that were exactly like that. Merchants simply going AWOL on buyers. And not just going AWOL, which I mean closing their shop after products have shipped, like in the case I just showed you. No, we're talking of shops that sell products, then just straight up close down without even sending the product to buyers. Now, whether the sellers get taken down willingly or get taken down for selling copyrighted products, it's still a dangerous and annoying thing for the buyer
I'm glad
to
that never
experience.
happened to me,
Also,
but I
while
feel
what
bad
I've
for
just
those
talked
people,
about
man.
can be a gray line between intentional scamming or just a misunderstanding between dropshippers and TikTok, this next one is outright theft. I'm talking about such incidences where the merchants issue a fake tracking number such that the item will quote get delivered, but not to the actual buyer. And to be fair to TikTok, the fake tracking number scam isn't unique to them. Amazon, for instance, has had legitimate merchants complain that there are third-party sellers that list items similar to theirs and then pull off this scam on unsuspecting customers. They don't deliver to the actual customer. Rather, they send it to a random address within the same zip code, and then when the customer complains and asks for a refund due to Amazon policies, the fault goes to the carrier, which means both the fake merchant and the buyer get to keep the money. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happens
that's
on
messed
TikTok,
up,
but what's
man.
for sure is that it happens quite often. The lady ordered the viral crisscross chair, this one, which was going for $13, which is already very suspicious, and she was given a fake tracking number. She of course never got the chair, although she did dispute the transaction with the bank.
It was supposedly $13, and I know if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably a scam. But you know me, I thought that somehow maybe they messed up and they were going to go ahead and honor the pricing. Well, I was excited when I saw that they had shipped something, and I was tracking my chair, and then all of a sudden it says that my item had been delivered, but it really hadn't been delivered. So I come to find out that they gave me a fake tracking number. They gave me literally a fake tracking number, so I was never ever gonna get something. And now that I remember that picture that that UPS takes, that box was way too small to even be a chair. So I called the bank and I disputed that, because if they thought they were gonna get away with my $13, they're not. I'd rather lose $13, I'd rather give them away, but I wasn't gonna let no one scam me. So be careful, and if you do get scammed, make sure you call your bank and dispute the charge.
But I'm not sure everyone else would be quick enough to realize it's a scam and call their bank. I mean, comments on that video showed just how frequently this happens, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people, like the guy who ordered a charging station, would just let it go. It is just a few bucks, right? Now, in an even weirder twist,
but nobody's
there are
supposed to be
merchants that seem
scammed.
to try every trick in
I
the
don't care
book
what
to
the
get away
price
with
is.
saying they got the item delivered. This case here, for instance, is pretty bizarre, because after sharing how she got scammed while buying course, the cream that we talked about earlier, this creator got sent an empty package. Now, I could go on and on, but I'm sure you get the point I'm trying to make. There are a lot of cases where people have been scammed by either products that are nothing like the listing, or that never even get shipped at all. But then it doesn't stop there. It turns out that even creators themselves somehow get scammed in the process. And what I'm about to explain should also answer the question as to how new TikTok shops with barely any followers can very quickly gain traction and end up scamming a lot of people. So the case involves a brand known as Sud Scrubs. According to one of their people, they had been wondering how fake TikTok shops were able to rip off people with fake scrubs while having no followers but using the brand's original pictures and videos. Well, their investigation found that these fake shops would send products for review to small creators and ask them to make promotional content for them. To the creator, they're just making a legitimate video for a brand they think is legitimate as well. In the real sense though, the fake shop is using the creator as a way to gain legitimacy among not only the specific creator's audience, but also the audience in the wider platform. That's how they're able to get people to buy from them that quickly. And what do the creators get from it? Well, yes, the commissions. These fake shops use the TikTok affiliate program in order to get creators to agree to work with them. And again, most of these small creators usually have no idea that what they are promoting are fake merchants ripping off the original brands that are actually on TikTok themselves. Truly a wild west, as I said. Now, even worse, these small creators can end up getting scammed from said commissions. How? Well, this is how it goes down according to one such creator, Brittany K. Woods. A brand, one of the fake ones of course, reaches out via WhatsApp or Gmail and asks to work with the creator.
Oh no,
Apparently,
WhatsApp,
very insistent and persuasive.
When they say WhatsApp,
they wanted her to promote some bodysuits in exchange for commissions, and they wanted the whole thing done really fast. Excited to work with the brand, and due to the pressure they had on her, she made the video, sent it in, and also posted it on her own page. To her surprise, TikTok took the video down for a copyright violation. She had unknowingly promoted a fake product. And still, the guys who had contacted her, instead of just walking away, were apparently insisting they could work together on other things. Another creator, Manny Gillespie, I really hope I pronounced that right, brought up a very similar issue while also adding that part of her skepticism in working with these shops was clicking on the links they send. Apparently, there are cases of some people losing control of their social media accounts by clicking random links for such deals. Some have even had to pay the scammers to get their TikTok accounts back. Now, this creator also gives tips for other creators to not get scammed, and the gist of it is that dealing with brands might need to happen via direct interaction with their official TikTok accounts, not the Gmail or WhatsApp accounts.
Yeah,
however, it seems
when you see that
hard to
WhatsApp,
distinguish between fake brand accounts and real ones
I
for
cut
some
them off
items.
real
There are also
quick.
situations where even if the deal goes through and
I get
TikTok
those
does
all
not
the
take
time.
down videos made in collaboration, some brands just rip off the creators of their commissions. Rachel Carlisle is one such case. Apparently, she had worked with a certain brand, Sync Body, to promote one of their products, which she did, and then posted a video with an affiliate link. She got about 14 million views, clearly an insanely good number.
Yeah, that's
From it,
crazy.
she was paid zero commission. She then made a
What?
video exposing the company for what they did, and they apologized and tried to get her to take down the video because they were, quote, going to make it right, end quote. Well, they didn't, and instead tried suing her. Now, I'm not sure what became of that legal battle, but it seems the brand is still up and running because they have videos on their page from as recently as last week. Unethical sourcing. Overall, what we've already been talking about is telling enough. TikTok shop can be a dangerous place. However, what adds to that pile with even sadder undertones is the ethics of the kinds of products found in these shops. I'm specifically talking about merchants that stock counterfeit goods. As one student in an interview with CNBC said, if a purse, for example, is going for $4, quote, what are the ethics behind that? Is it sustainably made? What kind of labor was used to make this product? I mean, I feel this is a valid question, given it's the same concern of fast fashion, and the kind of damage it leaves behind. I'm sure we all remember the Shawn influencer debacle from 2023, where they flew influencers to China to try to showcase some of the production work, only for the thing to backfire on them. Is it Shawn?
Wow.
It's 2024, and I still don't care.
Shein.
That move had come from the reports alleging that Shein was making their very cheap prices possible by using forced labor, human rights violations,
Now
stealing
that's
work from
messed
other
up.
designers, and
I
clothing
didn't
made
know
from
that.
potentially hazardous materials. Amazon did also get accused of having suppliers linked to forced labor in China in a similar manner as Shein. And, just a little
Bruh.
context here, these accusations, both for Shein and Amazon, seem to stem from the widespread concern and honestly shocking evidence about forced labor in, I'm not going to pronounce that right so it's on the screen, a large region of Western China. Without going too much into it, what official government sources stated was that China's government, at the time and maybe still now, was trying to erase ethnic and religious identities in ways cleverly disguised as, quote, vocational training, end quote. They basically had about 1,200 state-run detention camps holding different
Oh my
ethnic
God.
groups and used forced labor to suppress them. In these camps, violence, forceful drug intake, SA, and even torture were not uncommon
Bruh.
tactics of making the detainees work, and they did produce quite a wide variety of goods that ended up in US markets. In response, the US government made the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which banned imported goods sourced from suppliers in that western region of China. Now, I'm not at all saying that TikTok Shop is complicit of forced labor, but I'm just saying they are selling really cheap goods, like really extremely cheap, so it makes you question it a little bit. I also did go ahead and try to dig a bit more into these factories, and what I found on TikTok is a little hard to judge. There are these videos and lives that have been floating around and alleging to be factory workers in China stuck in low-paying, dead-end jobs that have them working almost around the clock all week. However,
is
some
crazy,
are obviously
bro.
fake and look like content farms trying to fish for sympathy and clicks, but then others look like legit factories where people work. They also don't show necessarily poor conditions, but also, it's impossible to rule out that's not happening. Either way, coming back to the point I made earlier, what are the labor ethics of something like a purse that goes as cheap as $4? And rounding up this video as a whole, what are the chances that the dangerous side of TikTok Shop grows as TikTok continues to grow itself? TikTok expects to grow its shop business 3 times to $17.5 billion
Oh my
in the
God.
US in 2024. With that being said, let's head on to the outro. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like.
Yeah, I definitely gonna leave a like on the video, man. You did a very good job on this video, man. But I'm gonna have to say, man, when y'all go on a TikTok shop, just be careful, man, cause they do be having some scams on there. Luckily, the item that I bought, it was actually legit, and I actually got the item. But yeah, just be careful out there, man, cause like I said, I don't want nobody getting scammed out there, man, cause I see those emails most of the time, like even when I'm not on TikTok. I mean, just promoting stuff on YouTube and Twitter, like I get those type of emails all the time, and y'all just don't realize, man, they got some people that really do be really be scamming out there, man. So just be on the lookout, man. So other than that, just be aware, keep your eyes open, and other than that, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. And I'm out. Peace.